Hey guys, this is Dave with FBT Podcast, and we have a special guest tonight. It is Sean Thomas from the really popular YouTube channel Just Say No. Sean, you want to say hi to the fans out there?
Hey guys, how's it going?
So yeah, Sean, again, thanks for getting on. Really looking forward to talking to you and pick your brain. I stumbled across your channel like just by accident. And I found it like really intriguing. And can you explain to the people listening like what your channel's about?
Well, basically, it's a YouTube channel with mostly videos of interactions that I have with law enforcement, mostly NYPD.
Yep.
It's a channel that I started I think back in 2006 maybe. Or in 2006 or a little bit before this.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a channel that I started for posting videos at all. That's not why I started the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when you sign up for YouTube, you get a channel. You know,
yep.
It's just at the time it was just social media, another social media platform, just like any of the other ones, MySpace at the time or whatever we were using. So I started a YouTube channel. I think I had to sign up for YouTube in order to see certain videos, something like that. So basically, that's why I started the channel. And most of the videos that I did post on the channel early on were videos of my photography. It was only later on when I started posting videos of my interactions with the cops. Yeah. And even then, it wasn't so that I could, like you will find now with channels of First Amendment ordinance, things like that. It wasn't like that. That's not why I posted the videos of the police encounters back then. The reason I posted them then was just for some basic reasons, to archive them, so I have a place to store them and to share them with just one other person, a journalist who would contact me about a certain contact I had with police. And in order to send a video, I couldn't send it by email because the attachment was just too large, so we just put it on YouTube and give them a link. So it wasn't to do what, it wasn't created to be what it eventually turned out to be.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny how like things evolve like that, right? Like it just turned into something. And for the people listening, I mean, your channel's pretty big. Like a lot of your videos have like, some of them are like in the millions of like views, So I know you have a big following. You must get a lot of support. And you probably get some backlash too, right?
Well, yeah. Well, if you're talking in terms of comments, when the comments that I get from people, it's actually a mixed bag, but it's mostly positive than negative. Usually, the negative comments I'll end up with a lot of negative comments, but they'll be from one individual. It's that type of thing. Where I might have, thousands of individuals who, are adding comments in support or asking questions. There'll be a handful of, I would guess, just cop supporters or police officers themselves. They come on and, talk crap.
Yep. It's funny. Well, a couple of things. I'm into like amateur photography myself, so it's funny when you said that. That's like one of my passions. And the other thing I was gonna ask you was, well, at this point, like since the channel started from something else, it evolved into like what it is now. Like, what's your current goal with the channel? Like, why are you doing these videos? And basically outing these cops that don't know the law. And a lot of them are bullies. I mean, I have my own personal stories, but I'll probably get into that with you a little later. But, what's the purpose right now of continuing with the channel for you?
Well, it's as far as continuing with the channel, there's no effort to continue with the channel. So it's not like I have to do anything to keep it up. You know, you once the channel is established, you have to do something to take it down. It just stays up. So it's not like I'm actually maintaining it. You know, it's just going. And as far as any purpose for it now, there's nothing changed. It's still it's there. It's just like what I might think of like Instagram or Twitter. I have an Instagram account, Twitter account, and from time to time I'll get messages there, and I might post something there. But you know, it's nothing to maintain them. You just have them. You know, so I just have that. And as far as the videos that I post on there now, the purpose is pretty much the same, and it's just that now there is an audience, and so you know that's just something added. But if the audience were to disappear, for you know, I would still when I come across a video, have an encounter and record it, I would still post it, you know, there, even if there was no audience, because you know, my thing is it was a surprise to me when I discovered that there was an audience. You know, earlier on, I would get comments, and this is even a couple of years ago, I would get comments, you know, where a person might say something like they liked the video and they subscribed, and I would look at the comment and I would say, you know, okay, you know, I didn't even see any significance in subscription, that people subscribe to the channel. I didn't see the point of it. It meant nothing to me, you know. So someone would say, okay, I like the video and I subscribed, and I would think to myself, oh, okay, all right, you know. So it was never a thing to me. You know, I understand now with you know, nationwide, actually worldwide, it seems like now you have people who have encounters, seek encounters, and post these videos and create these channels and become this YouTube thing. That was never my goal. You know, that was never my goal, and it's still not my goal to this day, because that in and of itself holds little value for me. You know, it's not like I'm getting rich from it, or really making any money from it at all. And it's not like the videos are actually, as far as I can see, moving people to do anything significant. And that there are people who, and I see this, and people tell me, you know, I see other guys who do have YouTube channels in other, you know, in other states or even in other countries. That and they'll contact me or comment and say, you know, that my thing is what inspires them or something like that. And that's cool. But as far as here locally in New York, there's these videos aren't moving people to make any changes. You know. As far as the YouTube channel itself, I understand that some people appreciate it, but it's not in and of itself really doing anything, and I'm not really trying to do anything with it.
Now, do you think that it's not moving people? Well, first of all, like, it doesn't surprise me you got such a big following, because a lot of people are harassed by cops, you know? So, like, I think that resonates with people, where, like, they see somebody's out there, like, calling them out on their bullshit, and you're, like, fearless. Like, you're, like, in their face. You're, like, bullying the bullies. And, like, I love seeing that, because, like, I've been harassed before, and it makes you feel terrible. You know what I mean? Like, you feel you feel like a criminal. Like, I mean, they make you feel like a criminal. You didn't even do anything. I mean, there's been times where I've been out there, you know, going back to photography, it could be like nighttime, and, you know, I mean, is there a law against taking pictures at night? You know what I mean? And, like, I get stopped and I get questioned, I get ID'd. It's like, why? And you made to feel like a criminal. But yeah, it's no surprise that your channel has a big following, because a lot of people deal with that, and they're scared and they don't know how to deal with it. It's like, but
Yeah.
you come off so like fearless though. You know what I mean? Like in their face.
Well, I see, and I see other videos and the work that other people do. I mean, I really don't know what exactly resonates with people, and I mean, I can guess at it. And the things that I think resonate with people, again, are things that really don't really hold a lot of value to me. Like a lot of people like the sensationalism of it. I tell a cop fuck off. People like it, you know. But
it cracks me up. I'm sorry.
yeah, but people like it. But that in and of itself, that really holds not a whole lot of value with me. Like one of the most popular videos on the channel is a really short video, and there's really, other than me telling the cop to fuck off, there's really nothing significant that anyone can learn from the video. The videos that I think contain really lessons in there that, you know, that I think people can learn from and have tools in it that people can use, those aren't the most popular videos, you know. So I see it different than people. So I don't know. I don't really have a grasp of who the audience is. You know, are these people who are interested in law? Are these people who are just frustrated with police? Are these people who just like sensationalism? You know, I really don't know, you know, who the audience is.
It might be a combination of all that, you know?
Yeah, I figured it is. But it seems like people like the vulgarity of it. They like to hear, you know, be cursing at a cop or something like that. And I get that. That's not necessarily why I do it. But I get it.
Yeah, I think the people who like that is because like you're like speaking for the people that have been bullied. Like they probably wanted to tell a cop to like fuck off like so many times, and they just don't have the guts to do it. But you're there like in their face. You know what I mean? You're not afraid to do that.
One of the things I was hoping to do that would come from these videos that I've been putting on YouTube, and with the development or the growth of the, you know, subscriptions and people watching, I was hoping that people would see that, you know, see that they could do this. That's one of the things that you know, that developed from this, is that I do want to show people and teach people things. But the thing is that I didn't want to be the guy to tell you, hey, when next time the cops stop you, you don't have to show them any ID. Tell them to fuck off. I didn't want to tell you that you could do that theoretically, and I haven't done it. I want to do it and show you. You know, so you can see, you know, that you know, because it's one thing for someone to tell you what you can do. It's another thing for someone to show you.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely more impactful. But I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing that, you know, the ones that, like, I think there's cops that like they know the law, and I think they play with the law and try to and just abuse it. And then there's some that just don't know the law, and that's kind of sad. So I'm sure you like denying like Shawn ID, if you haven't done anything wrong, I'm sure they still probably like took you in a few times, right? I mean, am I wrong? Like,
no, they've taken me in many times, and my experience is exactly I wouldn't say the opposite, but my belief is that most cops, and I'm going to talk about the NYPD specifically, because I really don't have a lot of dealings with other police and other jurisdictions. But with the NYPD, I am confident that the vast majority of them do not know the law. They wouldn't know the law if it crawled up their ass and bit them. The majority of them have no idea of the law, you know, and if most people knew the law and understood what was, you know, how what's really going on, they would see it. These cops don't know the law. They don't know the law at all.
Yeah,
not even a little bit.
That's kind of sad.
Well, what they know is procedure. You have to understand, you're dealing with a bunch of Nazis. And when I say that, I'm not using the term loosely. The Nazis were order followers. They followed orders.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did.
Yep.
They followed orders. And when the shit hit the fan and it came down to getting down, what they said is, hey, I was just doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
I was just following orders.
Yep.
What you find with the NYPD is exactly the same thing. These guys are following orders. Regardless of what the law says, their commander or their supervisor instructed them to do this. Mm-hmm. It could be contrary to the law. Some may even know that it's contrary to the law. Mm-hmm. But what do they do? They follow orders. And the problem is that they follow orders, and the vast majority of them are inept and incompetent and can't even really follow orders. They don't have the aptitude for law.
Yeah. Wow. So you know, I had another question for you, but I guess you kind of touched on it. So, like, you know, obviously, like, for me, I don't have a problem with, like, the police force in general. I have a problem with the bad ones. You know what I mean? And it seems like, and this is probably controversial for me to say, but I'm gonna say, like, the vast majority, to me, they come off as bullies. You know what I mean? And you know, I would say like 75% of experiences in my case have been bad with them. That's why, like, I really typically don't trust cops. I mean, I met some awesome ones that they do their job well. And I felt like they were great cops. I have a few friends that are cops, and I think they're cool. Like, I don't view them as like racist or bad, but there's a lot of bad ones out there. A lot of bad ones.
Well, in my opinion, depending on what you mean by good and bad, they're all bad. This is my opinion. My opinion is that they're all bad, they're all no good, and that the people would do better off without them. Mm. You have to understand that these guys, I mean, when I say that they are incompetent, they are incompetent. You can look through my videos, and you don't even have to just look through my videos. You can look through other videos. You'll see in some of my videos where the cops are saying, I have one video where a cop, I asked the cop, is what he's stopping me for, is it a misdemeanor or a felony, or if it's a crime? And the cop says it's a violation, and he says the violation is actually a crime. Now, you have to, well, first of all, you have to understand, when you're dealing with the police and they're dealing with you in their law enforcement capacity, the only thing that matters is the law. That is the only thing that matters. My opinion and my feelings don't matter. His opinion and his feelings don't matter. What it comes down to is the law. So this cop tells me that a violation is a crime. Now, as a matter of fact, in the matter of law, the only crimes are misdemeanors and felonies. A violation is not a crime. It's clearly defined and written in law in plain English in the New York State Penal Law. It tells you very, very clearly. The only crime is misdemeanor or felony. So why is this cop now telling me that a violation is a crime when it's clearly? I mean, you don't have to be a genius. You didn't have to pass the bar to be able to read this and know this. Now, their excuse on things like this is that, well, they're not lawyers and they don't know the laws, and they don't know all the laws, and that nobody knows all the laws. And that's fine. I accept that 100%. But here's the thing. Don't step to me with something that you do not know. Don't come to me with something you don't know. It's just like the Jehovah's Witnesses, the way I used to shut them down back in the day. You know, don't come to me telling me what somebody told you. I'm going to ask you questions. And if you can't answer them based on what you're telling me, then get the fuck out of my face. You know? You don't have to know everything. Just know the bullshit that you're selling. Just know what you're selling. If you don't know what you're selling, get away from it. So if you're coming to me and you're telling me I'm stopping you and you have to do this way, if you're telling me that I have to do this and that it's a lawful order, then you better be able to recite that law. You better be able to recite that law. If you're telling me that there's a law that requires me to show you an ID card, well, please cite that law, which is something that, you know, that I don't know if you can just blame the cops, or do you have to blame this quote unquote society in general? Mm-hmm. This whole thing about the ID. I mean, it is common sense. You don't have to know law to know that you don't have to show a cop ID card. And the common sense is very simple. In America, no one is required by law to own an ID card. And in America, no one is required by law to carry an ID card. Mm-hmm. So if you're not required by law to own it, and you're not required by law to carry it, how is it possible that you are required by law to show it? Mm-hmm. How is that possible? It's common sense.
Yeah.
This is America. Mm-hmm. No one has to have an ID card. No one has to show a cop an ID card under any circumstances. Mm-hmm. Even if you're driving and you have a driver's license, mm-hmm. and there's a whole contractual thing going on there. But even then, you don't have to show a cop your driver's license. Then I got the case law to prove it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, but that's...
So I don't know where people get this confused about, the cop asks for ID. My thing is, hey, don't show it to them. You're under no obligation. They say, well, the cop can, and this is, by the way, this is not just in New York. This is everywhere in America, where you don't have to show a cop an ID. And some people, a cop will say, well, I have a right to ID you. Just naturally, you should be thinking to yourself, yeah, you can claim you have a right to do whatever, whether you do or whether you don't. It matters not to me. The question is, where is the obligation upon me to cooperate with you?
Yeah.
Where is the lawful obligation upon me to answer your question, to participate in your fishing expedition, to give you anything? I have another video. I got stopped. Cop, he had a problem with the Metro card that I swiped to get into the subway station. He asked to see the Metro card. I told him no. Very simple. No. Point to the lawful obligation that I am under to show you or give you anything. Mm-hmm. To even acknowledge that you exist. Please tell me when someone can show me that lawful obligation that I am under to do this, well, then fine, I'll do it. But until then, my thing is get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of disturbing, because if these cops they don't know the laws and they're enforcing things that are like not on the books, it's like, they're doing things that are impacting lives. I mean, they're like arresting people. You know what I mean? It's just like,
and this is why I say all cops are bad cops. Basically, they don't give a fuck. It's the same thing like you say, they're doing their job. Everyone says they're doing their job, whether it's the cop and the people say, hey, the cop is just doing his job. My thing is, I don't know what his job is, and as far as I'm concerned, fuck his job. Mm-hmm. A drug dealer has a job to do. A contract serial killer has a job to do. Yeah. Every thief out there has a job to do. I'm not interested in your job. You are oath-bound. You have a duty. Tell me you're doing your duty. Mm-hmm. Then we can talk. Then I'm sympathetic to you. When you say, well, I was just doing my duty, then I'm sympathetic. That's why you grabbed that guy. You were doing your duty. Fine. There's nothing I can say about it. Don't tell me you're doing your job. I don't give a fuck about your job.
Yeah.
There's a difference,
the whole excuse of like not knowing every single law, like I get that too, but like the basic stuff you have to know. I mean, you can't be like arresting people and enforcing things like, like the whole ID thing if that's not on the books.
No, it's not. And some of the stuff that's on the books, if you're going to talk in that context, my thing is, okay, what book? What book are you talking about? Because there was a cop, I have a video up, a more recent video, where the cop is telling me that people, what makes me special, that I don't have to follow.
I saw that one. Yep.
Yeah, that I don't have to follow. Right. I don't have to do, I don't have to follow New York laws, which is something I posted on Facebook today about a debate I was having with this other guy about New York City laws. And here's the thing that will blow some people's mind, that people just don't get it, right? And it's because of, I guess, the absence of civics classes in schools and shit like that. But in New York City, for example, right, you have New York City and then you have City of New York. They are not the same thing. New York City has no local government. New York City has no police. There's no such thing as the New York City Police Department. And people are like, okay, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Well, I challenge you. I challenge you. Go to any city agency, from the police to the fire department to the board of education to the health, whatever you want to do. Go to any of these departments, any of these agencies, and you won't find New York City in any of their official names. However, there is one agency here in New York City that does have New York City as part of its official name, and many of us in New York City know it. It's the New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, the project, right? It has New York City in its name, but it is not a city agency. It is a state agency. You understand? It's not a city agency. There's no city agency with New York City in its name, and that's because New York City has no local government. This is simply a corporation known as City of New York. And some people say, oh, well, it's just semantics. New York City, City of New York, it means the same thing. It absolutely does not. It's documented. It's in writing. Anyone could go see. The documents that created New York City is called the Greater New York Consolidation Act. It's all laid out right in there. Go to also to the New York City Administrative Code. Go to the New York City Charter. New York City is 5 counties of New York State: Kings County, Queens County, Bronx County, New York County, and Richmond County. Those 5 counties together is what is New York City, the place geographically. City of New York is a corporation, and that corporation, and one guy told me, it's a municipal corporation. There's nothing new about that. There's such thing as municipal corporations. But again, go back to the Consolidation Act. The municipality is not a place. That municipality and the corporation is the mayor and the city council and their subjects. That's it. It's not a place. Again, go back to the Consolidation Act, and it tells you in there that the City of New York, this corporation, has no lawful authority over any county of New York State. So it's possible. So when you look at it, technically, it's possible for you to be in Kings County but not be in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a borough. The 5 boroughs is totally something else. See, again, New York City is 5 counties. Those 5 counties together make New York City. The City of New York is one thing that is divided into 5 boroughs. And it's a thing that it's actually very simple to comprehend, but most people don't understand it. So when you understand it, then you have to ask yourself, well, what's the deal with the police? What's really going on?
Yeah.
If you read any New York City laws, for example, you go through all the laws, like for the court, and you'll see that they'll have rules for the courts in New York State. Yeah. Right? And the rules apply to every court except for New York City. New York City has special rules. Because New York City criminal courts are not courts created by the Constitution, whereas all other courts are. This is why you can go in Bronx County and find a criminal court and then find another state court right next to it, across the street or up the block. And just about in every county you go there, you'll see the same thing. And in Kings County, you'll see the Kings County Criminal Court, the Court Brooklyn, and then you'll find a block away or right next to it another court building, the Supreme Court building. One is state, one is a state court that is a constitutional court that is created by the New York State Constitution. This other shit is created by the legislation, and you can just read what's called the New York City Criminal Court Act, and that is the act that creates these courts. These are not constitutional courts. And the thing is that when you go in these courts operate outside of all law. They operate outside of their own law. They operate outside the Criminal Court Act. They operate outside of the New York State Criminal Procedure Law. They operate outside the New York State Constitution. They operate outside the the United States federal Constitution.
So they kind of do what they want.
Pretty much, unless you call them out on it, unless you confront them with it. Of course, you're going to have to fight when you do it. But unless you do that, unless you do that, they operate, they're just lawless. And that's the thing with me, and what has it so that when I'm confronted with these police, my attitude towards them is because I understand that these are really fucking, fucking Nazis. These are low-life scumbags who are operating outside of any law. They don't even operate within the law, their own law, which isn't really law, but they don't even operate inside their own law.
So, yeah. So Shawn, what do you, going back to something you said earlier, you said, like, we'll be better off, like, just without them. Do you mean just, like, the New York City cops, or just in general? And if we didn't have cops, do you think that crime will just be rampant, or how will we live in society without law enforcement?
First of all, we don't need. Well, that's a whole nother can of worms. But no, we don't need the police, and it's very simple. I don't know if you're familiar with this, what heroin does to a human. When a human uses heroin and they become addicted to heroin, what happens is that heroin shuts down a particular chemical. I don't know what it is. I forget what it is.
Dopamine.
But it may be, but whatever it shuts it down, and your body doesn't produce it anymore. So that when you come in, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said, and the drug, like, that's probably why they get addicted, because the drug fills that, like.
Yeah. Right. And the thing is that when you come off that particular drug, you can die. Your body stops producing what it normally produced to protect you. So you have people who come off heroin, and just a handshake can cause them a lot of pain. Well, the police in America has done pretty much the same thing. Everyone says, well, will there be a bunch of crime if we don't have police? Well, the police say, and which is something else the police say to me online frequently, is that, well, next time you're in trouble, when the criminal is at your door trying to break in and kill your family, don't call the cops if you don't want the cops. But here's the thing that I point out to people is that if a crazy guy is knocking on your door right now saying he wants to come in and kill you, right? And he breaks into your door and you put a bullet through his head, the police come and arrest you.
Yes. Yep.
So my thing is this here. The only reason we need them is because they won't allow us to defend ourselves.
Yep.
So what would we do without the police? We would do what we did before we had the police. And crime would actually be lower.
I agree with
crime
that. I agree.
Crime wouldn't go up. Crime would be lower,
Yeah, I mean, this kind of
people would defend themselves.
Yeah, no, this kind of segues into, I'm a pro Second Amendment person, I'm not like a gun nut or anything like that, but, I don't believe, there's people out there that believe in a gun ban, which I don't even think that wouldn't happen anyway. There's way too many circulating out there. Like, I mean, drugs are illegal. There's drugs all over the place, but anyway, like, with these whole school shootings and mass shootings and stuff like that, I mean, it makes sense to me, like, an armed public is a protected, safe public. You know what I mean? Because who in their right mind is going to do something stupid in a room full of people that are armed? Unless you're crazy. And if you are crazy, you're going to get shot down probably right away. So, I don't know. But there's like these arguments that, like, getting rid of guns and disarming the public is going to fix problems. And I think that's delusional. What do you think about that?
It is. I think it's absolutely delusional. I think it's retarded, and not only that, but unlawful. I believe it's unlawful. And like I said, if more people were armed, like the argument that they give again about, the criminal breaking in your house. The only criminal that's going to be breaking in houses, knowing that more than likely the house that he's breaking in, there are folks in there armed. The only guy who's doing that is a fucking nut, right? Somebody who's mentally deranged. And this person is going to be this guy isn't going to be running amok, randomly running into houses, in one area and then into the next area. He's going to be stopped before he gets very far.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get stopped on the first house, So So I'm not concerned about that. I'm not worried that people are that crime is gonna go up and that life is gonna be more dangerous as more people have guns. I disagree with that altogether. I think it's a retarded notion.
I agree with you. I think it is retarded. It's funny because like in Connecticut, they had the Newtown shooting where those like 26 kids got killed, and like way back, I was like, it just didn't make sense to me why there are no armed guards and no guns at schools protecting kids. I mean, that just didn't make any sense to me. And I had said way back, people call me crazy. I'm like, why don't they give the teachers an option to be armed? Like, you know what I mean? Not necessarily carried on their hip, but if they want to carry concealed, and maybe the principal, whoever's running the school has a list of who's armed, like some kind of record of it. But
I think that I don't know how that would work out, and I don't have any suggestions as far as arming teachers or principals or even the students. What I think is that if the parents were armed and the people in the neighborhood were armed, everything would be okay. Because when I'm in while this lady is at home in her kitchen across the street from the school, she hears the shot, she hears shooting, and she's there, and the other neighbors are there. And the parents that just happen to be around the school at the time, they're there. And chances are responding faster than the police would anyway. So, again, it goes back to an armed public. Stop taking guns away from the people.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you know what? It's like, when I talk about the armed teachers, I mean, I like what Florida's doing and what they propose of like having them train, like take periodic training and stuff like that. Like, just don't hand anybody a gun, But I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, like money's protected by guns, banks, we got politicians protected by guns. Ironically, the ones that want to take guns away. And it's like, if you feel that strongly about, no guns, then why do you have armed people? Then it's so hypocritical to me.
Yeah, it's on its face, it's nonsense. But the American people have slipped so far that it's for the American people to get back to where they should be. Well, there's gonna be some problems. The old adage about breaking some eggs to make an omelet. There's gonna be problems, but that's just the natural course from having slipped so far.
Yeah, and it's like I think it was like incremental little like slips, in the wrong direction, and like now we're at a point where there's so much that's a mess. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. It's gonna have to be like a mass reset, and are we like too far gone that there's no fixing things?
I don't think that the people are too far gone, but I mean, people just naturally, they are. I mean, they're. I mean, I hate to say it, the people are fucked. I mean, most people here are slaves. I call them slaves.
People.
Yeah, most American people are slaves. As far as I can see, the majority of them are slaves. And their God is government. Government is their God. We're back really in position. Or I shouldn't say we're back. We're in the position pretty much where Germany was pre-Hitler. I mean, people follow. People blindly follow government.
Yeah, it's scary too. Like, I mean, people. It's our right to question things. You know what I mean? If something doesn't seem right, I mean, you should be able to question it. But there's literally zombies out there. Like you said, like they just blindly follow whatever's told to them, whatever, rules and laws, even if they don't make sense. And then also how the media is being used. The mainstream media is used to just like basically control the public, scare the public, sway the public in a certain direction. How do you feel about that, Shawn? Do you agree with that, or
They have, the media has no integrity. I mean, I do interviews from time to time
yep.
with blogs and things like this podcast, but I really don't have much to say to the major media. I just got a call today from an attorney who's telling me that the Daily News wants to do a story on me, right? And or do a piece on me for another lawsuit. And I basically told the attorney, hey, basically, I don't care what you tell them. You talk to them. I'm not talking to them. They come to me, I'm telling them to talk to you. Yeah. I don't have anything to say to them. I don't give a shit about the media. I don't give a shit about the mainstream media. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about countering what they're doing. My thing is this here: if you're listening to the media, mainstream media, and you're going off of what you're getting from them,
sipping a Kool-Aid,
what am I going to tell you? What am I going to tell you? The fact that you're listening to them, that you don't have it in your head already to know not to listen to them or to take what they say with a grain of salt. I don't have anything to say, but you say that you listen to them. Listen to whatever they say.
Yeah. When I was
the media's full of shit. Yeah.
Oh no, totally, 100%. And there's people that are quote woke. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm woke. You're obviously woke. But the vast majority of people they literally. They'll watch CNN or whatever Fox, and they'll just eat up whatever's like shoveled to them, and it's crazy. I think most people are like that. They don't question. And if you tell them that the mainstream media lies to them, they look at you like you're crazy. They're like, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist."
See, the thing is that people, and this is the whole thing, especially with this race politics and stuff like that. Like they'll say, hey, this journalist who's a black guy who's, anti-white racism, who is, he works for the New York Times or he works for the Daily News or he writes in the New York Post, and he said this and he said that, and we should protest, because he suggested we do this. My question to these black folks, these woke black folks, I have a basic question for them. I say, do you think that if this man who you're listening to actually had anything to say to you, had anything to say that was inherently in your best interest, do you think he would have a voice there? Do you think he would have a voice at the New York Times? Do you think he would have a voice at the Daily News? If he actually was saying anything that was inherently in your best interest? People get mad at me when I say it, or people think about me a certain way when I say it. But listen, man, most people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm thinking, if this man really had anything to say, he wouldn't have a voice there to say.
Yeah.
And the same thing with with the race politics and this and that, and people saying, well, the cops are racist, the cops are doing this, we need to fight and get the cops more sensitivity training and all that. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. I don't believe in this whole Black Lives Matter movement. I don't believe in any of that. And I understand that people do, but I don't. And people figure just because I get into it with police that I believe in those and that mindset and that thinking and in democratic liberal politics, I don't at all. I'm totally dead set against it. The worst thing that I think that ever happened to black people in New York City was the Democratic political party. I don't agree with it at all. They say that the police are, listen to this. Let me explain this. People, again, it goes back to the civics classes. They say, well, we are for the Democratic Party and we're against the Republican Party, right? So I would ask them, and these are the same people who are saying that the majority of white people in America are racist, right? So let's follow this logic. The majority of people in America are not black people, and the same majority, the majority is white. These black people are saying that these majority white people are racist. However, they want to be part of the Democratic political party and they believe in a democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a democracy, majority rules.
Yeah.
So if majority rules, why would you want to be in a system where the majority are
the people you call racist?
Right. It doesn't make sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that you want to be in a constitutional republic,
mm-hmm.
which is what we were guaranteed. What the American people were guaranteed is a Republican form of government,
mm-hmm.
a constitutional republic, where individual rights are paramount.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's about the individual, not about what the majority want. You know? So you kind of asking to be screwed following this political thinking of the majority of black folks.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the racism in the police, my thing is, this is why I tell the cop to honor your oath. I don't give a shit. I wouldn't care if every New York City police officer was a certified, registered member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Mm-hmm.
Was all white, and there were no black or any other, you know, quote unquote minorities as police officers. I wouldn't care if those white racist police officers honored their oath. You know, if they honored their oath, to uphold and defend the Constitution, what the fuck do I care what this guy believes in his heart? What do I care that he doesn't like me? It doesn't matter if he doesn't like me if he's honoring his oath. Now, I have a problem with this black motherfucker who's a cop who is not honoring his oath. That's what I have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been arrested and been basically tortured by the police and could count on one hand how many of them were the descendants of the white slave masters in America.
Wow.
So, in fact, the white ones that were in there were new white ones, fucking Russians. You know? Everyone else in there, black, Hispanic, West Indian, Asian, and all these motherfuckers were, without a doubt, fucking Nazis. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. I'm in there. Cop arrested me unlawfully. He beat me. They know it now. I didn't even reach out to Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs reached out to me. You know? But while I'm in there, the black women, the Hispanic women, even black women, older women with dreads, right? I need a drink of water because my mouth is full of blood. You know what they tell me? Drink out the toilet.
Oh, my God.
And you're going to tell me about white racism?
What the heck?
I wish there was, you know, the great-grandson of some old white racist Irish cop in there, because I'm sure he would have gave me a drink of water. But I'm in here with a bunch of blacks and Hispanics and Asians and quote-unquote minorities. And this is, and by the way, this is not my experience one time. This has been my experience virtually every time I've come in contact with these motherfuckers.
So what do you think that's about though, Shawn? Like, why is it that, you know, that's crazy to me. I mean, that just sounds crazy. Like,
yeah, I don't know why it's surprising to anybody. I mean, you turn on a video, and virtually outside of New York, every cop I shouldn't say every cop, but the majority of them, they always talk about these white cops doing something. You see a bunch of black and Hispanic cops shooting people, tasing people. You know, I mean, flip through the YouTube channels. Go look at those cops out in California, the cops out in Florida who are killing people and beating people.
Well, Florida is a whole other podcast. There's some weird people down there. Not all of them, but I spent some time in Florida, and it's funny. Anytime you hear a crazy news story, it's in Florida. You know, someone eating someone's face off or riding an alligator.
Yeah, they got a lot of crazy stuff going down there. When you hit the top of Georgia, going down. Yeah. Every time I hear crazy stuff, I'm like, let me guess, Florida. They're like, yep.
But Shawn, I know you've been really gracious with your time. I'm not trying to keep you on forever, but what do you think the root of that is? If you can kind of like simplify it, you know, just in your honest opinion, why do you think that, quote, minorities like abuse, non-law enforcement, like other minorities? Like, what is that about?
Well, I can give you some anecdotal information about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you have you remember the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence?
Yeah. Yep.
And remember when they went to prison?
Mm-hmm.
Who was outwardly the most aggressive to the inmate?
I mean, I haven't seen a movie in years, but if I remember, I think it was it was like a black guard, right, or something.
Right. It was a black inmate who was a guard, right? Who was acting as guard, right? So what you have there is essentially the slave exercising what he believes to be the slave master's authority, his power. So you have you ever see the little girls mimic their mother? It's like an exaggeration of their mother.
Yeah.
It's their mother. It is their mother, but it's an exaggeration of their mother. Mm-hmm. And when the little boy imitates his father, it's an exaggeration of his father. Well, here you have the slave, who is mimicking his master, and you see this exaggeration. Like, I know my master can beat your ass and get away with it, so I'm going to act like I believe my master is. I think that's what it is, to be honest with you.
So it's like this deep-rooted thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shawn. It's like a deep-rooted thing, then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But you're talking about, this is what that's what it is. These you're talking about a lot of people who were not shit. And this is how they felt. They felt like they weren't shit until they became a cop. And now I am a cop. A cop is what I am. Not the work that I do. It's who I am. It is what I am. I was nothing until I became this cop. So you're talking about essentially a fucking slave before they became police. Before they became police officers. I had a conversation with a Russian cop, a Russian woman who had arrested me, and I had the opportunity to speak to her during this lengthy 30-something hours in their custody. And I asked her, did she ever read the United States Constitution? I wish I had it on recording what this incompetent tyrant bitch said to me, And basically, she said that the Constitution was some old document that didn't mean anything. Mind you,
oh my Lord,
has authority. Mind you, she has authority to do what she does based on the oath she swore to uphold and defend it. Now,
insane.
the thing is, she's not the only one. I challenge you. Pass a cop on the street in New York or anywhere in America for that matter and ask them, have you ever read the Constitution? And then just find a part in the Constitution. Just find a part and remember it. Just find any part you want and then question them on that part. Probably a good one would be the Fourth Amendment or the 14th Amendment or the First Amendment. But you can get more complex. And go into Bill of Rights, all kinds of things. But these folks are incompetent. They swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and not one of them motherfuckers ever read it.
Yeah, that's
so you'll ask them. You can ask them, do you violate people's constitutional rights? And they'll say no. Well, have you ever read the Constitution? No. So how the fuck do you know you're not violating people's rights?
Yeah.
And you know how they don't know? Because they're going off of what they were instructed from their supervisors, other motherfuckers who never read the Constitution. And that's the problem. Incompetent. Utter incompetence.
That's a problem. How is that fixed though, Shawn? How is this like lack of?
Oh, it's fixed very easily. You go old school and fix it with fucking nooses and fire. You hang these motherfuckers. That's how you fix it. You kill them in front of their family.
Oh my goodness.
That's how you fix it.
Oh. Yeah, that's
you would think they would have the integrity. These are people who are, when you say they're good people or bad people, these are men and women who at their core lack any integrity. Let me tell you something. As a photographer, I used to, before people knew me like this, I was known from the work that I did as a photographer, photo shoots, events, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I would often, models would come to me and they would say, hey, well, I want to do a photo shoot with you. How much do you charge? Before I would tell them anything, I say, oh, you did a photo shoot before? Send me the work that the last guy did. Send me some of the things that the last guy did. And the reason I would do that is because I'm telling you the truth. Anybody who knows me and knows my work will tell you this. I would look at those photos, and if I couldn't do better than what was done before, I wouldn't accept the job. That's integrity. Don't pay me. Don't pay me to do the same thing the last guy did or less. If he's better than I am, what the hell are you coming to me for? No, do more work with him or find somebody else. Yeah. Or I would pass him on to someone who I knew could do a better job.
Yeah.
That's integrity. That was my livelihood. That's how I earned my dime. But that was my integrity. I would turn down money. I would not do it. And I would. No one pushed me to learn photography and to learn how to to become better as a photographer. That was self-motivation. You would figure that these dumb fucking cops would take it upon themselves instead of going to the bar one night to sit at home and do a little studying on law. To do a little studying on law, to read some case law, read the Constitution. You would think that they would do that, but they don't.
Yeah, that should be a given. I mean, not to know it, in a perfect world, back to front, you probably should know it. That's a perfect world, but I mean, you should.
They have no working knowledge of law. What they know are the orders given to. Listen, the police have something called a patrol guide. These motherfuckers have it. You can go in their house and you'll probably see that book sitting in the corner somewhere. That patrol guide. They don't read it. They don't know it. They don't even know what's in their own patrol guide. And that shit isn't law. You think that at the very least they would know that. The majority of them don't. I know their patrol guide better than they do. You think that they would have some shame and would go home and think to themselves, hey, this fucking person knows the patrol guide better than I do. Maybe I should read that every night. Take a section and read it.
Yeah.
You're talking about utterly incompetent, and the reason that they continue like this is because there's no penalty for being incompetent. For them, there's no penalty for being incompetent. My thing, and what I see as my job, is to change that and make sure that each and every one of them feel the pains of the purse every time they fuck up. Not only the officer, but his supervisor, on a chain of command to the CEO, which is this prick they call the mayor.
Yeah. Now I know. I'm sure your response is probably going to be intense. I'm guessing, but have you ever met a cop that you respected and felt like they were competent and they were actually, quote, good?
As a cop?
Yeah.
No, not as a cop. No.
Well,
I know plenty. I shouldn't say plenty. I know a decent amount. I probably know more police that have more personal relationships with police than people would think. But and I'm not questioning the man or the woman. But if you're talking as a police officer,
how to do their job.
They're all pieces of shit.
I got you.
As a police officer, they're all pieces of shit. And mind you, I have close friends or people I grew up with, or even family members who are members of the New York City Police Department. Right? I'll never say who they are, but I can tell you personally, as police officers, I have no more confidence in them than I do in any other New York City police officer. As men and women, as a man, as a woman, when they want to be a natural man, natural woman, hey, they're cool. I'm good with them. You want to talk about their personalities in that sense? Well, that's another thing. But as police officers, I have never met one that was competent. Not one.
So your anger, towards law enforcement is more. It's the lack of competence. It's not like them personally. It's just they're not doing the public a service. They're fucking things up, and and not doing their job correctly, and they have no knowledge of law. I mean, that's your thing, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that I have anger towards them. I mean, no more anger than you would have at a pack of wild dogs running the street. You respect that. You respect the danger. You understand the danger, and that may come off as anger, but it's not anger. You know, I'm not angry with these motherfuckers. You know, I respect the danger. I understand the utter incompetence. You know, that's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just a few more questions, Shawn. You've been really, really gracious with your time. So with the main issue with like law enforcement, you know, because like racism's a hot topic, is a big thing right now, and it's been around forever. You know what I mean? It's been around forever. Some people don't believe it exists at all. I think that's wrong. You know, me personally, I think that it exists. Like I'm Hispanic, so I've experienced it here and there. I don't believe every, you know, Caucasian, every white person's racist. I mean, I have friends that are white, and there's not a racist bone in their body. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like how I feel about police officers. I have a few friends that are cops, and I know for a fact. I mean, my honest opinion, they're not racist at all. You know, but you know, with all the shootings and everything going on, do you think like racism is an issue in the police force, or do you think it still goes back to lack of training?
I don't believe that racism is an issue when it comes to this thing with police. I personally don't believe it. I don't buy it. And not only don't I buy it, but I mean, even if it is, even if, like I say, even if the cops are racist, I don't care. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter to me, and I don't think people get this. It doesn't matter that the cop is racist. Okay, this cop kicked your ass because he didn't like Spanish people. Okay, this one kicked your ass because he didn't like black people. This one kicked your ass because he doesn't like gay people. That one kicked your ass because he doesn't like straight people. This one kicked your ass because he doesn't like old people. This one kicked your ass because he doesn't like young people. What difference does it make? If he's honoring his oath, he can't kick your ass because of how he feels.
I gotcha.
It doesn't matter. You know, when the guy comes down the street and he hits your grandmother over the head and snatches her purse and run away, do you care that he did it because he's a heroin addict, or because he needed money to feed his children, or because that was his initiation to a gang? It doesn't fucking matter. It was wrong, and that's what you deal with. You know? Yeah. The fact that the cop does what he's doing it because he's not honoring his oath. Because if he's honoring his oath, he's upholding and defending the Constitution, which means that he's not violating the Fourth Amendment. He's not putting people in jail without probable cause of a crime. That's the problem. So they want to give these cops sensitivity training. My thing is, don't give these cops sensitivity. Don't teach them how to treat me nice because I'm a black man. Teach that motherfucker the law. Teach him that he cannot arrest people without probable cause of an actual crime. Teach him that a violation is not a crime. Teach him that. Don't teach him to love black people. I don't give a fuck what's in his heart. I get that guy who's working on the axle on your car. Do you give a fuck how you feel about Spanish people? You want this guy to be a competent mechanic, competent in what he's doing. Right. No, I give a fuck how you feel.
I totally get what you're saying. And, you know, it's funny because some people won't get that. But, you know, the honest to God truth is, like, if someone's right, if they want to be racist and not like Mexicans or not like, you know, Chinese people, I mean, I guess that's their right. But, you know, like you said, if they're following the law, we wouldn't have problems anyway, because it's like, you know, they're
that's
putting in their personal feelings. You know?
That's my thing. Follow the law. I don't give a shit how you feel. And I'm not interested in hearing about who don't like black people. Yeah. Because, I mean, straight up and down, the majority of black people don't like black people. I'm not interested in hearing about this white man that don't like black people. Yeah. You know? I've experienced, I've been shot before. Maybe 20 26 years ago, I was shot in a housing project, right? It wasn't a white man that shot me. You know? Most of the people I know who've been shot and killed in New York City, or shot and not killed, weren't shot by white people. I'm not saying that racism, prejudice, bigotry doesn't exist, but it's not an issue. It's not the issue here.
Yeah.
It's not the issue here. I mean, AIDS is still a problem. Pneumonia is a fucking problem. You understand? But it's not the issue here. But I can go out there. If I go out there wrong, I can catch pneumonia.
Yeah.
You know? You know, but it's not the issue here. That's not the problem. The problem is that you have men and women who put on a badge and a uniform, and they are psychopaths. They believe that their imaginary friend gave them permission to do something to you. That they can do something that someone else can't do because their imaginary friend, and it is an imaginary friend, the state, you know, the corporation, some non-existent that told them that they have power over other men in America. You know, people don't get this. People don't get this. America, they say it all the time. You hear, well, this is a free country. America's a free country. You know, it's free. They don't understand what that means. What does it mean that it's free? It means that this was the country where the people were not subject to the will of another fucking man.
Yeah.
That we had no king that could control my behavior. You know, if I want to sit on my stoop and drink a fucking beer, who is this guy to tell me I can't?
Yep. As long as you're not hurting nobody else, you should be able to do that.
There you go. It's very simple. Do no harm. And if I'm not harming someone else, the state, their imaginary friend, and you look at majority of cases in New York City, go to these courts. Who's the majority and who's the victim in the majority of these cases? These guys don't get their paperwork, but they pull out that paperwork in the whole victim section and it'll say PSNY. People of the state of New York, a corporate entity, an imaginary friend. That's who the victim is.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know,
not any real victim. It's their imaginary friend. These are psychopaths. This is the very definition of a fucking psychopath. You know, their imaginary friend told them that they could do something, and yet these same people who allow this, who live under this, who think this shit is normal, are the same people who look and say, "Oh, those Muslim Arabs over there, their imaginary God told them to do this," but you're right here. You're right here, and these people, these psychopaths are roaming the streets, killing people because their imaginary friend told them that they could. Yeah. I mean, look at Eric Garner. Was he? First of all, he didn't do what they claimed that he was doing, selling the cigarettes. He wasn't doing that. But even if he was, it's not a crime. It's a civil thing. So when the fuck does the NYPD get authority to arrest somebody for a civil violation, for a tax code violation that didn't apply to him even if he was doing that? But the man is dead. And you got people talking about racism and an illegal chokehold, and not a motherfucker standing up talking about the fact that what the cops did was flat out unlawful. Yeah. Flat out unlawful.
You know what I used to always think, Shawn? You know, when you mentioned psychopaths, I mean, I would link that to, like, I always felt like our views are probably like a little bit different, but like I would view the bad cops as like people who have issues, and you kind of touched on it. It's like now they got a badge, now they got a uniform, now they have the power, and it's like, just like bullied people, damaged people who want power and control, and then they go into that field. And the bad ones, I felt like those are them. You know what I mean? Like,
so, you know what makes them all bad? The fact that, going back to Eric Garner, the fact that if Eric Garner was able, because he wasn't fighting them, he was passive resistance. He wasn't fighting them. Now here you find bad cop. A bad cop, for example, would have been this: Eric Garner turned around and fell on that little motherfucker and killed him. Right? Was able to get up and run away. Right? And then you have some cop that wasn't even involved in that, who would be the first one through the door when they found Eric Garner. He would be the first one through the door to put a bullet in his head. You know? So these so-called good cops will give their life and take your life defending a bad cop. That makes them all bad.
Mm.
That's what makes them all bad.
Mm.
You know, and knowing that, right? Because think about it. You got a little brother who's living in the house with you, and he's going throughout you live in an apartment building, he's going out throughout the apartment building, breaking into people's homes.
Yeah.
And they discover it's your little brother. You don't know it's your little brother, but they discover it's your little brother. Or even before they discover it's your little brother, you're going to beat your little brother's ass. Because you are responsible for what he's doing. Or at the very least, you're going to have to stand there and defend him when everyone's kicking down your door trying to get at him.
Yeah.
So you don't want that bad shit in your house. So just based on that alone, you're going to correct that situation. You would think. And if you don't, and if you find out that he's doing this and you don't correct it, then you're just as guilty as he is.
Yeah.
The same logic applies to the police. If you don't do everything in your power to get this bad shit from up under you, you're just as bad at it. I asked the cop this. Hispanic cop, as a matter of fact. And transit, they had me locked up in transit in Brooklyn. Yeah. In Kings County. And you know, this cop wanted to start a debate with me. I'm like, okay, motherfucker, you want to start a debate? Let's talk. You know, and I asked him, how many bad cops have you reported? Not arrested, how many have you reported? You know, this motherfucker spoke under his breath and said, that's not my job. That's what he said. That's not my job.
Goodness.
Now, mind you, he said that's not my job. Again, we go back to this thing about his job. It may not have been his job, but it is his motherfucking duty to report a cop who does something wrong. It is his duty.
You know, sorry to cut you off, son, but like on a human being level, you see something that's wrong, it's your job as a fucking human being, if you're a quote good person, to do something about that. Like, you know, like I get what you're saying. Like, they're just as accountable. The ones that like, you know, willful like ignorance. Like they act like they don't see what's going on.
Well, like I said, that just underscores what I'm saying. There are no good cops. They're all bad. It's a mathematical impossibility for there to be even 1% bad. Fuck that 1%. 0.1% bad cops if all the rest of them are good. It's a mathematical impossibility that there could still be bad cops. You know, the good cops would have run the bad cops out by now, and no one would want to be a bad cop because of what they saw happen to the bad cop. So there's no such thing. It's a mathematical impossibility for there to be so quote unquote good cops.
Do you
think the good cop is not going to allow bad cops to exist? Yeah,
I mean it's I don't understand, like it's so confusing because I totally get what you're saying. You know, is it like a fear thing where like they don't want to report stuff? Or
well, if it's a fear thing, then they're fucking cowards. They're fucking cowards.
Yeah.
You know, it's very simple. You're a fucking coward. You know, you know, like you were saying earlier, I'm not fearless. I'm afraid every time I come into contact with. I'm afraid every time I go, a cop car is passing by. It triggers something in me. I get nervous.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm not a criminal. I don't commit crime. Yeah. I don't commit crime. You know, and it makes me nervous. Yet I will still stand up to these motherfuckers because it is the right thing to do, and that's the only reason I do it. It's the right thing to do. So a fucking cop, you know, who can't stand, who's afraid of, fuck him then. Fuck him and his family. Fuck him. Fuck them. I mean, me personally, I don't give a shit about them. Like they were, you know, I think they're completely hypocrites. Like they got a black cop now that's out here saying he's suing the police department because he said the police pulled him over and arrested him for no reason. And I think it's terrible. I think they should have shot his ass. I think they should have beat the shit out of him when they did it to him. You know, because I'm sick of these black cops. They stand by and they let these cops do whatever to black people. And as soon as one of these motherfuckers do something to them, they want to stand up and be pro-black radical. Hey, I'm a black cop and they treated me bad because I'm black. Fuck you. They should have killed you. That's how I feel. Personally, that's how I feel. I don't give a fuck about them. I saw these black female cops some years ago coming out on public radio talking about how some white cops said some inappropriate shit to them and someone made a sexual event, I said they should have tied these bitches down and raped them. I know it sounds bad. I don't give a fuck about them. You don't get to sit back, watch them abuse everyone else, and then stand up, hey, support me because they did something to me. Fuck you. You were in a position and had power to do something, and you didn't. You fucking coward. Fuck you.
So you think, Shawn, like, no matter what, by default, if you in the police force, you're seeing some shit and you just ignoring it. Like, there's no doubt.
They have a duty. They are oath bound to do something. They have a duty to do it. Any other time is, I'm just doing my job. Well, do your job now. Yeah. You have a duty to report this. You have a duty to stand up to that.
I agree with you. I 100% agree, you know? Like, not even being a cop, just on a base human level, you see something that's not right, you got to step up and do the right thing or help, you know?
But you know what they do? But you know what they'll say? Because they're such cowards and so intellectually low, they'll say, hey, but, you know, you're a black guy and all these black guys in your neighborhood are selling drugs. Why don't you point them out? And I understand what they're saying. The difference is I didn't swear oath to do a fucking thing. You did. I'm not getting paid to do a fucking thing. You are.
I think you got a point.
Well, I mean, just incompetent cowards. They're no different than any other, you know, and they're looking at a kid who's selling drugs, right, who's dealing drugs or even committing crime, something like this. This poor bastard, his granddaddy was a thug, his daddy was a thug, and now he's a thug. Yeah. And you look at him with your moral indignation and talk about him and the choices that he made and he should have known better. Yet you sit back there on your high horse and you're being paid to do something. You swore an oath to do something, and you're just as bad as him. You're just as bad as him.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other topic right there, because I feel like there's people that they think that no matter what, you know, background you're from, whatever circumstances you dealt with, that you should be able to persevere no matter what. And on some levels, like, I feel like we can overcome things, but, you know, it depends on, like, how much shit you've been through, you know, like, if that's all you know.
I have that debate. Listen, I have that debate in my own household with people. My thing, I have a big thing, and my thing is personal responsibility. I joke that I'm going to write a book in the future, and I'm going to title it "The Confessions of a Reformed Nigger." You know, Confessions of a Reformed Nigger. Because I used to think just like that.
The title get attention, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but that's how I thought. You know, that's how I thought. So I don't buy the whole thing about, hey, I come from this, I come from that. Are you an adult now? Are you thinking on your own now?
Yeah.
If you don't know something and you know you don't know something, then it is your responsibility to find that out. You know, so as a father, I know that, you know, I'm dealing with some anger issues and I'm yelling at my children more than I want to, but I don't really know how to deal with that because my daddy wasn't someone who dealt with that properly. Well, now that I know that, it's my responsibility to find the shit out, not just to sit down and not do anything. You know?
Yeah.
So personal responsibility, and again, it goes back to the cops. None of these motherfuckers accept personal responsibility for a goddamn thing. Not one of them.
Yeah.
They don't accept personal responsibility. Their whole thing is, I'm not responsible. I was just reading a cross complaint, the answer to a cross complaint from one cop that I'm suing, who's suing the city, and I'm suing the city and the cop. Inside the lawsuit, that same cop is also suing the city. So the city was responding to him.
Yeah.
You know, and this cop was basically saying, hey, I'm not responsible. And if I am responsible and got to pay, then the city needs to pay me. You know, their whole thing is to not be responsible. These same motherfuckers who preach personal responsibility, the first thing they say when you come at them is that not that they didn't do it, not that they didn't do anything wrong. The thing is that they are not responsible. That is what the cop claims. I'm not responsible. I was acting for the city. I'm not responsible. But listen to some of these videos you see in the street, and the cop will be like, well, man to man, and this is why I get at them and curse at them. I'm like, what capacity are you talking to me in? Because if you're talking to me in the capacity of a man, I'm telling you to fuck off. Man to man, I don't want to have to deal with you. That is not how you're dealing with me. You're not dealing with me in the capacity as a man. You're dealing with me in the capacity as a machine, as an agent for the state. You have no authority over me, man to man. Actually, you have no authority over me as a state either, but you certainly don't have no authority over me, man to man. Like I said, when you're dealing with these police, you're dealing with utterly incompetent. And I mean that. I don't say that to just call the names. They are utterly incompetent, and virtually all of them. Virtually all of them. And that, again, that is something else that makes them all bad cops. Even cop experts, the guys, the cop experts, I listen to them too, who teach cops what to do and how to become better police. And that's one of the things that they say. You have to be competent at law. You have to be competent at what you're doing. When you're confronting somebody, you need to know that what you're doing is the right thing. Not necessarily what your boss told you. You need to know that what you're doing is squarely within the law.
Yep.
And you need to know that for yourself, and you need to know that independently. And this is what the cop experts are telling to other cops. So they say the same thing, that their incompetence is a problem. If you're incompetent, you're not a good cop.
Yeah.
And virtually all of NYPD are incompetent. I mean, you can just you don't even have to question them. Just let them speak. Let them stop you for having an open container of alcohol. The first thing he's going to ask for is ID. You say, look, I don't want to give you ID. He said, well, I need to arrest you then. I need to arrest you. I need to take your liberty for something that is not a crime. Because they believe that he can. Never read, never studied any of this shit independently on his own. But he's taking these kind of giant steps. And the reason that they're doing it is because, they believe, like the Nazis, they're not responsible. Just like a fucking Nazi. I am not responsible. Yet I'm a man. That's what they say, right? Aren't the police saying we're just men and women? I'm a man just like you, just like a plumber, like anybody else, right? They want to have it both ways. They want to have the cake and eat it too. I'm not responsible, but I'm a man, and I have all of this like a man, except for the responsibility that any other man has. So when I go at the police, it's not about, hey, I have a deep appreciation and a serious comprehension of what's going on and what they're doing.
Shawn, as far as videotaping the police, I mean that's totally legal also, and I'm sure you've had cops that have had a major problem with that as you're taping them, right? I mean they've went try to arrest you just based on that.
Yeah, I have federal lawsuits against the police for that right now. And not only one, but in 3 separate incidents.
So, I mean, it's totally legal then. Like, they're a public servant in a public domain, and you can record them.
Yes, no one has an expectation of privacy in public. So you can stand on the street corner, and if the cop is doing whatever he's doing, you can videotape. Going up in his face, standing 3 feet in front of him or 2 feet in front of him, and, when the man didn't initiate contact with you, that's another story. And doing that while the cop is doing his job or just in general, even if he's not doing anything, just walking down the street, that's another thing. But simply recording them while they're in public doing what they're doing, that is 100% lawful.
So do you think that that's for people out there, listening, do you think that's like a level of protection though? Like if you deal with incompetent police, should you bust out your phone and just start?
Oh, absolutely. No question, 100%. You need to record the police anytime you have contact with them, especially when you're having contact with them. It's almost your responsibility, I would say at this point, to record them. And by the way, anyone who has an iPhone, if you're using an iPhone, you're listening to this, You should familiarize yourself with this, with the feature on the iPhone called guided access. Learn how to use that. Learn how to set that up. And this way, when you record the police, when they take your phone, they can't stop the recording and they can't turn the phone off. You know, I've used that a couple of times and it recorded. It didn't have the video because they had the phone in my pocket or in a bag or something like that or somewhere else, but it recorded the audio. You know, and that's just as important. Even after the handcuffs were on and I'm taken away, it records the audio. So if you have, I don't know if there's a feature like that on Android phones or other phones, but if you have an iOS device that you're using, an iPhone, learn how to use guided access and always record the police when you have contact with them. Don't think that, first of all, don't allow them to tell you that you can't record. Like I told you that the cop stopped me when I swiped to go in the subway station. The first thing he said to me was, "Turn your phone off." You know, and I'm thinking this guy must be already. I know he's a bad cop because he's telling me to turn off my phone. Why would he be doing that?
Yeah.
Why would he be telling me to turn off my phone if he's not a dirty cop? Yeah. Right. So in my mind, I'm thinking this motherfucker's out of his mind. There's no way in hell I'm turning this phone off. We're gonna this stop is gonna come down to this incident, this issue right here. We're not getting past this. You know? No, I'm gonna keep recording and I'll hold the shit up on my forehead if I want. And there's nothing you're gonna do about it. And if you think there is, then do it here. And this is the issue that we're gonna have in court. Not whether the mental card I used was correct or anything like that. It's gonna rest on what you did about me recording you. You know, so always take out the phone and begin recording.
You know what I was thinking about, Shawn? I'm sure, like, there's cops, you know, some bad cops that are capable of smashing your phone. But don't the videos, don't they like stream up to like a cloud? So it's like it's backed up, right? Like, well,
like I was saying, if you use guided access, you have options. So you could be streaming the shit to Facebook if you want. You can use Bamboozle. You could be streaming it to YouTube. You could be streaming it to someone else on like a FaceTime call. You could do it however. And if you're using guided access, they won't be able to stop the recording or turn the phone off. Now, they can break the phone. They can break the phone, fine. Let them break the phone. You know, they can take the phone and throw it away. You know, the phone is a GPS device. It's like LoJack. You know, and you'll be able to track where you were when the phone went dead or went lost, or, you know, so it's like this is why I really like using this. This is the best camera to use for recording police, you know. And if they want to break it or whatever, and then chances are there's a video camera somewhere else in the area that also recorded that. You know, from a bank, from a store, from something. There's a camera somewhere. Chances are they caught this cop throwing down your phone. So now he has to explain this too. You know, he has to explain how he thought your iPhone that's only at maximum 10 millimeters thick had a 38 caliber bullet in it. He has to explain that, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy too. Like how many cameras are in the city, and you got to be nuts to commit crimes these days, because they'll get you. You know what I mean? They'll catch you in the lie. They definitely will get you. But Shawn, I just want to say thank you for the time, and you know, it was a really informative episode, I think, to the people listening, and it was to me too, because I learned a lot of things that I didn't know, you know, as far as like law, and I really, really appreciate your time again. Anything you want to say, like in closing, any websites you want to push, or anything you want to say in closing?
You have S. Randall Thomas, RANDALL Thomas, and you can find my YouTube, you can find the Facebook page, and also on the Maven at PNAC, Photography is Not a Crime, on the Maven.com. I write on there. I just started writing on there recently.
All right, and I'll make sure to put links to your pages, and of course, like the YouTube channel in the description of the podcast episode, you know, so easy access for people. And
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. You know, you're standing up for the people who don't have a voice, and you're like standing up to like the bullies. I mean, that was something that I took away when I first started, you know, checking out your videos. But I actually learned a lot more, and it's a lot deeper than that. It's not really totally what I thought it was. Like your whole, you know, mission and the reasoning behind, you know, your page and what you're doing. So, but yeah, Shawn, thank you again, and I'll put those links up.
Thank you.